Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So this is my current watercolor sketchbook. It is a brand new one that I just started a few days ago. That's the cover page, and here is the first full spread. I did this full spread last Sunday in the live session. I sketched on the bottom, and then later on I sketched the evening sky outside my windows. And yeah, I'm really happy about this page. And today I'm going to start working on this page. So today I woke up early to have breakfast instead of having brunch later. So here I have a red bean bread bun and a cup of English breakfast tea. And I think we really need to be self-motivated on weathers like this. Today is rainy again in Vancouver. So before I start eating, I want to sketch my breakfast first. Let's sketch the bread bun on the left-hand side, starting with the outline. It's a random circular shape. It's a little bit food, and then this paper cup, wrapping it. The base of the paper cup with wrinkles. And just starting to add the texture of the bread. A lot of folds. So there are a lot of interesting lines on a piece of bread, such as short and long lines, dots, broken lines. Same for muffins, cookies, and other bakery stuff. There are a lot of interesting things on their surface, like air bubbles. Yeah, I think that's it for the drawing of the bread. Now I'm just drawing my mug. It's a cylinder shape. The handle, it has a thickness. Drawing the rim and the inside of the T line. Writing down the time and a little note. And that's it for the drawing part. Now I'm ready to paint watercolors. I'm going to begin with the bread by wetting the area with clear water by squeezing my water brush. The first layer is always the lightest color. Medium yellow, mixing with lots of water. For the first layer, I like to keep everything pretty light and controllable, leaving a bit of highlight for the surface of the tea. Second layer, wet on wet, mixing less water and more paint pigment into the mixture of orange and yellow ochre to get this tone for the surface of the bun. And as you can see, I left some areas unpainted to show the bright spots. A painting technique that shows depths on an object. And now I'm just painting the paper cup below. I'll come back to it later. Now I'm kind of adding this reflective yellow on the surface of the mug. Ceramic things are a little bit reflective of the surroundings. And painting the shade of the mug with a mix of ultramarine blue and a little bit purple. Changing to my smaller tip, Sakura Water Brush, to be more precise now. Now I'm mixing the color of the red bean sauce with burnt sienna, a little bit ultramarine blue, a tiny bit of black left over on there. Now this band looks like a smiley face. It's kind of cute. Okay, now just using the leftover color on the palette, orange mixed with the leftover brown to paint another layer for the tea, and left that area unpainted to show the shine, or also the gradients on the surface of the tea. It was very charming. And mixing in leftover brown into yellow orange and less water to paint the third layer of the bread bun. Just a little bit brush strokes here and there. And just let the color blend together. And now I think it's time to add a bit more contrast for these two things. Slightly bit of darker brown for the surface of the bun and for the side too, around the bottom, closer to the wrap. There's a little bit of shade there. And another layer of dark blue tone using the leftover blue on the palette. A little bit more for the inside wall of the mug too, and for the handle. Now it looks even more interesting. A little bit shadow inside the wrapper. And for the in between the folds too. Now I'm gonna paint a platform for my breakfast so they stay on the page even better. Using a mix of pink with brown, the same color as the dining table, nice and warm. And after that, I'm ready to paint the shadows. Just grabbing some ultramarine blue with pink purple to get this shade color. Just paint pretty lightly at first and darker around the edges. Just a little bit of gradients, transitioning, and that's it. And here is the look of my art journal spread so far. So the weather today has been overcast all day long, but later in the afternoon it starts to get a little bit sunshine. I can feel it coming through the clouds, and I'm gonna record this view in my art journal. So I'm gonna sketch the view right on top of my breakfast. So as always, I kind of like use hand gesture to visualize the placement of the main objects in this scenery. So the main things in this scenery are the forest in the distance and the rooftops below. So I'm just starting to draw the contour of the forest on the left hand side and the large and small holes in the trees. Underneath that, there's this house. Just looking at the angle of the rooftop structure and just lay it out. Nice and simple. And fill in the windows and door area with solid black. Because I observed those areas as pretty dark areas. By giving contrast, I just fill in those spaces with black ink. There's another house behind, and this house in the middle. Keep drawing the forest around the middle of this sketch. Some trees with bare branches. Those are not evergreen trees. And keep drawing this house in the middle. Most of it is being covered by my cup of tea, so it's okay. I really like overlapping in art journaling. It creates a really nice narrative quality with overlapping. Just draw the windows, fill in the windows with solid black to show density of the house. This new constructed house right here on the right hand side, and just keep it really simple. And now I'm ready to paint watercolors. So just wetting the whole sky area first with clear water. And the first few brush strokes are medium yellow and a little bit lemon yellow, trying to show the atmosphere of the sunshine behind the thick clouds. And now putting on bits of cerulean blue there around the middle, and now I'm laying some ultramarine blue on top of the sky. And also ultramarine mixed with a little bit of purple to get a darker tone of blue, the color of the overcast sky. Keep it very light so far. Adding a bit more cerulean blue to show the bits of blue sky showing in between the thick clouds once a while. The blue sky is really struggling to come out from the thick clouds. And mix of ultramarine blue and purple for the bottom of the sky. And a little bit thin brush strokes. A little bit higher over here as I observe. And keep adding more darker tones of mix of ultramarine blue and purple. Just a little bit less water mixed in. So now you can see a little bit more contrast. So the layers of clouds, they contains layers of different tones of dark bluish gray. So if you look at the clouds very carefully, they're not flat gray. Okay, I think I'm pretty much done with the sky. Let it go. I think I captured the feeling really well. Now I'm moving on to the middle and lower part. I think I'm gonna paint these houses first because they have a lighter color, yellow ochre, mixed with a little bit orange. And raw sienna, mixing with a little bit blue to make this brown tone even darker. And now I'm grabbing some viridian green mixed with a bit of burnt sienna to get this organic green for the forest. And using very loose brushstrokes. So sometimes we don't have to paint that many layers to show sense of depth. As you can see, I'm doing wet on wet, which is one single layer by keep remixing the green by adding more or less burnt sienna to get a slightly different tone of green. Just mix that around within that single layer, wet on wet. And I think the forest is good. And moving on to add a bit more detail for the rooftops around the horizon. Burnt sienna mixed with a little bit orange. I need some more warm colors because the sky is mainly cold color, the forest is cold color. It's good to balance it out with a little bit more warm colors. Just add another quick layer of darker tone of green for the forest. By using these loose choppy brushstrokes, I'm able to show the texture of the forest. And I think that's it. I think I captured my impression of what I see, and it's done. And here is the look of my finished art journal page. And on the next day, I also did another evening sky outside my reading room window from the other direction. And then I sketched my coffee with a piece of walnut cake. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. And I will see you again very soon. Have a great day.